If you have PCOS and are too exhausted to even think about meal planning, this 5-step method takes the thinking out of it completely. There's no fancy recipes, no hours in the kitchen, just a repeatable system that you can use each week. Hi, I'm Veggie. I'm a registered dietitian, and I also have PCOS. So I've refined these methods for myself, with my clients, and in my membership to really help reduce that decision fatigue and make sure that you can be consistent and build sustainable habits around meal preparation. My step 3 is something that is kind of the key for meal prep and why most suggestions for PCOS or PMOS meal prep never really work. It's because people don't really consider the step 3. So my goal is to always help you reduce stress around food and help you go from confused to confident in the kitchen and around preparing meals for PCOS and in knowing what exactly you should be eating to help improve your PCOS symptoms. And I know that meal planning and meal prepping can be really overwhelming, and a lot of people feel like it's something that you have to spend hours in the kitchen doing every week, but that's not necessarily true. And I want to share you this 5-step process of how you can do it and kind of even on those like really low energy days or energy weeks. So step 1, I want you to kind of scale back on your expectations of yourself, and I want you to just pick 3 different things: a protein, a carb, and a vegetable. And it can be anything. You know, if the idea of cutting up a bunch of vegetables sounds horrible, buy some frozen veggies that are ready to roast in the oven. If you just want to throw some chicken thighs in the oven, or even if it's chicken nuggets that week, I'm not going to judge. We want to simplify things. So I want you to pick 1 protein, 1 carb, preferably a high fiber carbohydrate, like a whole grain or a starchy veggie, and then a vegetable for fiber. We're going to skip the recipe hunting. We're going to choose those little base things that we're going to build meals off of. Generally, the decision fatigue is the real barrier around meal prep for PMOS. It's not a lack of knowledge or a lack of time. So step 2 is I want you to search through your pantry and your refrigerator first. Most likely you have a lot of food on hand in that freezer of yours or the refrigerator, and we want to use that to help reduce food waste and reduce costs as well. That also helps when you have a lot of fatigue and you don't even want to go to the store. So I want you to check out what you already have. So maybe you don't even have to go to the store. A few weeks ago, I did a meal prep session in the membership where I had a lot of fatigue one day. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go to the store. And I had this recipe I was already going to make, and I wanted to simplify things. So I used the same formula that the recipe had, and I just substituted different ingredients I had on hand. And I shared the video on YouTube because I wanted to show you guys like how you can do this. You don't have to have these like perfect recipes all the time. So make sure you check that out. Step number 3 is the one that I think a lot of people forget about when it comes to meal prepping, and it makes their lives really complicated. We are going to choose 1 vessel to cook in. We're going to either choose 1 pot, 1 skillet, 1 sheet pan. We're not going to do a whole bunch of stuff. What that does is it minimizes your cleanup, which is really important. And it also reduces the cognitive load of like having to manage multiple things at once. Remember, we are looking to simplify our lives this week or this day whenever you're doing meal prep this way. So we're not making 5 different things and we're not using 5 different pans, okay? Step number 4 is I want you to remember the combination protein, fiber, and healthy fats. That is kind of like the thing I always talk about. That's really important for PCOS or PMOS, for blood sugar management, to feel full and satisfied. You're not gonna have big spikes in blood sugar and big insulin spikes as a result. You're not gonna have those crashes. You're not gonna have more fatigue. Having that combination is really important. But if that sounds really overwhelming, you're like, I don't know about this, I want you to pick one of those nutrients that you struggle with the most. I struggle with getting enough protein in. Like I can get a carb and a veggie, no problem. I enjoy eating those foods. Protein, I'm kind of like, I'm fine, but I'm not, I need more. So meal prep for me, I try to focus on some kind of protein, whether it's in snacks or lunches or whatever. So I would pick protein to focus on if I needed to kind of pare things down. Maybe you're not getting enough fiber in. Maybe you need more vegetables in your life. Then you're going to focus on the vegetables. Maybe you have a hard time with the healthy fats. Maybe you haven't thought about how to add that in. Then you're going to focus on that, okay? But we want a meal to have that combination. Take a look at what you normally have in your meals and see what's missing. The next one is my favorite because our food should be delicious. We are not going to eat bland and boring food. Now we are kind of paring things down when it comes to our picking, right? We picked one protein, one carb, and one veggie. Simple. If you picked chicken thighs, brown rice, and broccoli, that's pretty boring, but we can enhance it. Maybe we're gonna add a lemon tahini dressing. Maybe we're gonna add tzatziki sauce. Maybe we're gonna have a spice blend on there, a vinaigrette. I want you to pick one flavor enhancer that you can batch cook for the week or purchase that you can use to kind of jazz up your meals. Or if you want to be crazy, you want to have a couple varieties of things, because you could have those like base foods that you're making meals with, and then you could change the flavor up with just a different sauce or dressing. And then that way you're feeling like you're eating something different every day. So I want you to try out some of these tips, see how they can help you reduce fatigue around meal prepping, but still get that habit in, because one of the most important things is being prepared when it comes to your PMOS management. And if you're looking for a done-for-you meal plan with recipes and a shopping guide, make sure you check out my 7-day PMOS meal plan. There's a link below in the description. And I will see you guys in the next video.